Hi again here, everybody. I just wanted to get an update on some of the work that I've been doing in the shop here. Been having fun, learning a few new techniques, figuring out what works and what doesn't. Aside from setting up the router to do ripping, basically I got some pins trimmed down to put in any one of these holes, and I'll put them in the same arrangement and lay my work across those pins and line them up, and then use these clamping cauls to clamp down the work right here. And you can see where I was ripping 4 inches and 30 thousandths is what I did, and I ripped all these skirt boards down to the right size after rough trimming them on the bandsaw. So so I started working on the miters and experimenting with that shooting board. I've never used that kind of stuff before, but I thought I would try on this project. So the first thing I did was trim this board down on one side to a 45 with my miter saw, and then go over a few finishing passes with the shooting board, which gives me a very flat, nice miter surface. Then what I did is drilled all of the holes, countersunk screws in there. These are 3/8 of an inch diameter holes here that will accept some walnut dowels when I'm done, so I'll flush trim them to the skirt board. Right now it's just screwed on, temporarily holding it in place because it's difficult to clamp something like that. So essentially what I did was very carefully align this miter with the corner here, and then started working on this miter and making it fit against here. I guess technically you're supposed to evenly work both miters at the same time, but sometimes there's misalignment in this direction or this direction, and it turned out that there was some misalignment this way, so I had to work that a little bit to get that fit. And you can see it's a very tight miter, and it will only get tighter when I get the other side done, and there's clamps coming on it from both directions. You can see that there's a little bit of a gap there at the bottom, but if you just press on that a little bit, the gap closes up. So I'll get some clamps on that when I actually go to glue it, and that'll tighten up and close. I think the board kind of does this a little bit, and that's very difficult to correct for. The other thing is I did something stupid and whacked the thing with my hammer when I was aligning everything without putting a sacrificial board in place, and so I had to take the iron in a wet cloth and iron that out, which screwed up the miter, so I had to redo the miter after I did all that. It wasn't that big a deal, I just had to retrim it and get it close again. So anyway, that's kind of a good technique if you ever put a ding in something and you want to take it out. You don't have to sand it out. Those fibers, when you put an iron down with over a wet cloth or under a wet cloth, the steam and heat will make the fibers relax again, and it generally will pull the dent right out of the piece. Got to be a little bit careful, as I found out, because that can make the wood swell in certain directions, and on this corner it made the wood swell out and open this edge up. But anyway, turned out alright. I was going to work on getting this closer to flush trim and on the right side, and then get this corner lined up today, but I pulled a muscle this morning, so I can't really do a lot in the shop. It hurts kind of even to breathe a little bit. It's right in my chest. So anyway, making progress now that the holidays are all done. This wrapping shouldn't take too long. The other thing is there are those brass bushings here and over here that I have to drill the holes for, so that I can get my guide rods in for the end vise. So anyway, as I said, nothing is permanently glued on yet. It's just held on with screws. So I'll work my way around the ends. It shouldn't take me too long now that I've got a little bit of experience putting these things together. And working with the miter sled shouldn't be too bad. So what I did, I just kind of I made a sacrificial piece here, and if the miter needed to be adjusted, I could either put a shim up here or over here, and then my actual true workpiece would go against the fence along here, and then all I had to do was support the end of it at a certain height, and I just used paper and other things around the shop to support the board at the same height, so that this would always lay flat on this surface. And then of course you put your plane in here and just shoot across this way. The roughness that you see here was the very edge of the plane blade going the wrong direction against the grain and kind of ripping it out, which isn't a big deal because the actual plane rides up to about here, and there's flat on either side of that blade, so that's no big deal yet. So anyway, it's been working really well. You can shoot either direction pretty well, and I'll go over some of the techniques that I learned and found that work well for this thing later. So anyway, just thought I'd give you an update, making progress and having fun. I know I'm probably not the fastest kind of person to get these projects done, but I sure do enjoy the time that I spend on it. I'm more of a perfectionist than anything else too. So bench is turning out really nice. It'll be a very nice workpiece in addition to the shop. I guess when I put these on, I made them a 16th of an inch wider than the actual top, so I'll be able to move them up a little bit so that they're just proud of the surface, and I can come back with my planes and level that all out. And then since this top is already milled flat, I can put it on the machine and trim the bottom exactly flush if I want to later. So it's coming along. Won't be too much longer. I got this skirt to do, and then I've got to make up some shelves and drawers in here, and then I've got to put my electronics box on here. The whole thing is rigged up to work with an Arduino and a remote, so I can change speeds and do directions this way. I may also end up putting preset heights and different modes in there. I've got a little LCD display that I can put on there to tell what mode it is, so I can automatically have it go to the right height for, you know, my bandsaw. When I get the plane set up, I can have it go to that right height. The table saw, the sander, and the CNC. Make it work as in-feed, out-feed tables for all that. But I haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet, because, you know, the floor is so unlevel that I may end up having to do a lot of manual kind of up and down adjustments anyway. So coming along, having fun. That's the main thing. I hope you guys, if you start in the woodworking hobby, you just go at the pace that you enjoy and like, and you know, if you're like me, I just kind of like to putz around and make sure that I do something well. So anyway, hope to see you guys soon, and I'll give you another update maybe when I get the skirt all the way done and glued on, and show you how all the miters turned out. So, alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye.